That Truck Series finish at Talladega was absolute insanity. I don't really know what to say because holy crap, that was absolutely crazy. Tate Folgeman won this truck race and got his first career NASCAR Camping World Truck Series win. Yes, of course, he had to dump John Hunter Nemechek for the win. John Hunter said it was his fault. He took responsibility. But in my opinion, Tate Folgeman could have been a little bit more patient, try to make the move. But you got to do what you got to do when you get your first career Camping World Truck Series win. But holy moly, Tate Folgeman is a NASCAR Camping World Truck Series winner in one of the most insane Truck Series races I think I've ever seen. A photo finish nonetheless between Tate Folgeman and Tyler Hill, which I don't think anybody coming in today's race thought it was going to be between those two going for the victory. Yes, Talladega can create a lot of surprises, don't get me wrong, but the fact that that is the way that the race ended up being decided, and we saw Tate Folgeman be able to get his first Truck Series win. Of course, he kind of did it a little bit dirty. I know some people were basically saying that he probably should lose the race, but hey, it is what it is. NASCAR is probably not going to take the win away from him. Another thing, though, I want to talk about is the TV broadcast and how ridiculous Fox has been this year, especially when it comes to their TV windows. I cannot believe that Tate Folgeman isn't going to even get an interview right after the race is concluded. That's absolutely ridiculous. I know he had to go to the infield care center, but at least for NBC, when AJ Allmendinger got to go to the care center, when he had to go to the care center after his wreck at Bristol in that insane Truck Series finish, he still got an interview in the infield care center. I understand that Fox has these TV windows, but that's one thing that's absolutely unexcusable, and it just shows one thing and one thing only. Fox today had a couple issues with their camera crew. They were having issues when it came to the views out on the racetrack. And then they screwed up today once again, not interviewing the guy who won the race. I don't know how many times that's happened because I remember a couple years ago at Martinsville when Todd Gillen got his first career Camping World Truck Series when we already knew that he wasn't going to be returning to KBM in 2020 because he went over to DGR. Well, basically it was DGR, but Front Row Motorsports had affiliation with DGR Racing. Todd Gillen never got that interview, and then eventually got it back up. And I don't remember if Fox even apologized for the incident or not, but they had a big black bar, and then they had issues in that race. I remember that very, very well. And this is really unexcusable, though, that the guy who won the race, Tate Folgeman, doesn't even get a post-race interview, which absolutely was crazy. Then after the race was concluded, you had Matt Crafton and John Hunter Nemechek who were really, really not happy with each other. Matt Crafton came and smacked John Hunter in the ass, and then basically smacked him on the back and was sarcastic, and then John Hunter Nemechek had some really interesting comments right after the race on Matt Crafton. He basically said, oh, it is what it is. He's an old man, whatever. I don't know why he's pissed off about it. You got other incidents that happened in this race. You had the big one that happened with 15 laps to go in this race, where basically Grant Enfinger, I don't know if he was having issues at the end of the race, but he had Sheldon Creed right behind him, and Grant Enfinger basically got turned by John Hunter. Of course, it was really Grant's fault because he ended up blocking. And unfortunately, it collected it collected Stuart Freeze and Carson Hosbar, who Carson Hosbar coming this race had completed the most laps of anybody in the Truck Series. He ended up getting collected in that Camping World Truck Series wreck. And a lot of other craziness that happened. And then, of course, you had the big one happen around 40 laps to go in the race, where Todd Gillen got an impressive, a really, really big push from Chase Purdy. We'll talk about Chase Purdy here in a second, because I have a lot of thoughts on what happened to Chase Purdy at the end of the race. But basically, he got a really, really big push, and basically got into the back of Austin Hill, collected Zane Smith, and a ton of drivers ended up getting involved. Haley Deegan got involved in the truck wreck, even though she basically didn't get any damage. And then remember when we all were really happy about really not happy with Jennifer Jo Cobb getting a ride in the NASCAR Cup Series race to run that race at Talladega for Ricker Racing? I think a lot of us are taking that back now, because let's be honest, the fact that she did that was really unacceptable and really unexcusable in my opinion. You just don't drive into somebody, and honestly, she did that. It was ARCA race. I know she ran a lot of ARCA races, so she probably knows a lot more about ARCA race, let's be honest here. But at the same time, she should have done a much better job and should have known better in regards to that, and not have gotten into Parker Kligerman and did that in that big one. You know better not to drive like that. And honestly, at this point, I don't really not mad about her not getting. I know I was not happy at the time when she did lose her ride, but not getting an opportunity to drive for Rick Ware. But at the same time, you got to follow the rules, and she just legitimately did that. I'm glad now that she isn't even in the Cup Series and didn't get it right in the Cup Series. After that, that was really, really stupid. The other incident I want to talk about is Chase Purdy basically blocking, I think it was Todd Gillen. Chase Purdy basically didn't open up the bottom really, really well. He was trying to block. John Nemechek, who was really, really aggressive today, not to mention that, he got really, really, really huge run on the outside. Then Chase Purdy tried to think, calm down on Todd Gillen, and Todd Gillen basically ended up spinning him, and Chase Purdy spun out. I know some fans basically wanted NASCAR to throw the caution at that particular point, but, well, they threw the caution. I know NASCAR fans did not want NASCAR overall to throw the caution in that situation, but in all seriousness, you basically had a car spinning at that point. I think that's why NASCAR decided to throw the yellow in that situation, but other than that, this race was absolute insanity. I will say the first two stages of this race, you did have one wreck happen early for Brian Doza. Brian Doza hit the inside wall really, really hard, like I mentioned a little bit ago. I thought that Fox did overall a really, really poor job in regards to that. They could have done a better job on their camera quality and all that stuff in showing the wreck. And they overall did not do a really, really good job on that front. So it was really, really unfortunate to see that in regards to that. Not sure what the points position are looking at, because they'll have to reset the points and figure out everything. I think John Nemechek is about 30 to 40 points to the good right now. Yes, some drivers that got involved in the big one on the last lap, where basically 4 cars were left basically competing for the win. Todd Gillen got involved in that wreck. And then, like I said, the chaos between Tate Folgeman and Tate Steele taking overall the victory. I did not expect that. I honestly thought John Hunter had this race won in the bag, and then Tate Folgeman pretty much kind of dumped him. Like I said, I thought it was a little bit dirty what Tate Folgeman did, but at the same time, you got to do what you got to do, especially since we don't know if he's going to be even going back to that team next year or not. We don't know what the plans are for Young's Motorsports. But that's the second year in 3 years that a Young's Motorsports truck has been able to win. Remember 2019 when Spencer Boyd won in pretty controversial manner after Johnny Slaughter basically forced Riley Hurst below the yellow line, and they came, I think, side by side of the line, and Spencer Boyd eventually got the win about a few minutes later. And I thought that there was potential because there had maybe been some yellow line controversy that they were maybe going to end up having it. But I think Tate Folgeman had it on the inside, and then he got into John Hunter. But regardless of the situation, congratulations to Tate Folgeman on picking up his first career NASCAR Camp World Truck Series victory, pending post-race inspection. We'll probably know who wins the race in a little bit. Maybe Tyler Hill will get the victory if they doesn't pass post-race inspection. But as of now, Tate Folgeman gets his first career NASCAR Camp World Truck Series victory. Man, these super speedway races, especially at Talladega and Daytona, have been extremely exciting. I'm going to give today's score overall for the Truck Series race. I'm going to give it about a 7.5 out of. I'm going to give it overall 8 out of 10. I thought it was a really solid race. I do think coming to the end of the race, I think it did overall. Actually, I'll give it 8.5 out of 10. I do think that in the later portions after the big one, I do think I kind of calmed down and drivers taking it a lot easier. But during the rest of that point, the race was really, really exciting. And drivers just got to chill when it comes to aggression, in my honest and sincere opinion. So, anyway, that is it for my NASCAR Camp World Truck Series race review from Talladega Superspeedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, so you'll be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and Spark page as well. Let's get you blow over that and comment your thoughts on today's race. What are your thoughts about today's Camping World Truck Series race? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know your score in the comments below. And congratulate Tate Folgeman on winning the Camping World Truck Series race at Talladega. And we have a couple weeks off for the Truck Series. Silly season is probably going to pick up during that given time. But we will be back next in a couple weeks racing at Martinsville Speedway. We should definitely be looking forward to that for sure in a couple weeks. But we will decide who gets into the Championship 4. Because so far, no one's been able to lock their way into the Championship 4. And I think this is the third straight race where someone has gotten their first career Camping World Truck Series victory. Chandler Smith got the win a few weeks ago at Bristol. And then last week at Vegas, Christian Eck has got his first career Camping World Truck Series win. That's probably where he's going to end up next year in that number 98 car, as Grant's going to the 23. We'll talk about it on the channel here later this week. But really cool to see that. We also got an NASCAR Xfinity Series race coming up here very, very shortly, and I'm not sure how that's going to go, but I think it'll be very, very intriguing to watch. So anyway, like I said, once again, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great and awesome NASCAR content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.